All right, folks, Sean, Max Fire Training, home of the Max Firebox. What we're doing today is we're doing our Max Firebox Phase 1 Burn and Learn, and we're highlighting the attachment for the Max Firebox Phase 1. You can purchase the Max Firebox Phase 1 with or without the attachment, so today we're doing it with the attachment. If you currently own the Max Firebox Phase 1, this is an attachment we can send to you. We send you a fixture, some drill bits, direction manual, everything you need to attach this to your current Max Firebox Phase 1. What we're able to do here is we're able to create pretty much a hallway with vertical and horizontal ventilation. We're going to be able to highlight multiple fire behavior and thermal imaging objectives with the attachment on here. So that's the idea. You have two pieces of carpet, okay? So two pieces of carpet here. What we did is we wet one piece of carpet and the other piece of carpet's dry. So how we look at this is combustibles inside a house, bed, couch, sofa, the chair. We want to highlight the importance of flowing water out in front of you. We want to highlight the importance of taking control and killing the heat before you push forward to the next room. So the other thing that we have in here is we have Little Fire Dude, okay? So Little Fire Dude, he represents you, and this is something that we want you thinking about as far as Little Fire Dude. Little Fire Dude, you should not be inside fire room. So we want you to stop back here, use the reach of the stream, be a sniper, and kill the heat out in front of you. Don't go crawling into that fire room to knife the fire. So if you load in, attachments on, we're looking pretty good here. We're gonna do our Max Firebox Phase 1 Burn and Learn, and we're gonna highlight a few different thermal imaging cameras as we do this today. We'll be highlighting the FLIR K2 thermal camera, the Bullard TXS, and then the Bullard NXT. So we'll be highlighting some different thermal cameras there whenever we do our burn. So I'm simply gonna take my propane torch, come up, get the fire started here. This stage of the fire, oxygen, fuel, heat, chemical chain reaction. If you're talking about all those different book terms, talk about the stages of fire. Ignition, okay? So ignition, and then what's gonna happen, the fire is gonna grow. So ignition, growth, and then what? Flashover. Talk about, please talk about killing the heat. I really want you to stress with the firefighters that they have a thin piece of plastic on their face. Thin piece of plastic on their face, and the importance of killing the heat. So think about the difference. You have a thin piece of plastic on your face, on your butt, you have a bunch of protection on your butt. You have more protection on your butt than you do on your face. So we're just letting the fire heat up. You're talking about the oxygen percentages. We know that normal air we breathe is what? 21% oxygen. And then also be talking about the detached gas phase. We already have a detached gas phase here, but one of the things that you probably remember from the book is energy. The fire just does not have a lot of energy right now, so we're gonna give it a little bit more energy by holding my propane torch in there and letting the fire heat up. So also something I always like to talk about is the fire behavior is like a snowball. It's a snowball on top of the mountain that's coming down the mountain. And then please remember, every 18 degrees, the energy of the fire is going to double, okay? So it takes us some time to get from 0 to 500, but we go from 500 to 1,000 really fast. So already what I would be talking about right now is you have a detached gas phase. You're in the beginning stage of the fire. So you're in the beginning phase, you're in the ignition phase. So ignition, then what's going to happen? The fire's going to grow. So you already have a detached gas phase, and watch your smoke, okay? The velocity of the smoke, so be watching that velocity of the smoke. Be thinking about this as a hallway. Also be thinking of this as you're the firefighter. Like I said, reach of the stream, you're a sniper, you're using the reach of the stream. I want you back here, taking control back here, using the reach of the stream to kill that. I don't want you crawling all the way into this room to kill that fire. So reach the stream, don't go in there and knife it. Remember, two pieces of carpet, one has water on it, one does not. That's the bed, couch, sofa, the chair, and then there's Little Fire Dude. So we already have a good opportunity here to look at some thermal imaging training. We're looking down this hallway. So let's take a look down this hallway. As we look down this hallway, look at what you have here as far as the convection currents coming across. Now, did you see the camera change? Watch, I'm gonna try to take that triangle off. So that the camera's in high sensitivity. I'm gonna bring it down low. See the camera change, okay? So that's what we're looking at here. Now, I'm gonna take the thermal camera away. Look at what you have coming down that hallway. I'm gonna close the door. It's our first opportunity to close the door. The door is gonna be closed. And now watch the smoke conditions, okay? Watch how lazy the smoke is. Remember, watch the smoke, the volume, the velocity, the density, and color of smoke. Watch the intake. Watch where the fire is breathing from. Watch the intake, watch the exhaust. We're gonna open that door. Whenever we open that door, look at your smoke conditions and look through the eyes of the thermal camera. There's your thermal view as we look at that, and then we look at it through the hallway. So take a look down the hallway of the Max Firebox Phase 1 here. We're doing our fire behavior, thermal imaging, burn and learn. We got the Max Firebox Phase 1 attachment on. And let's take a look through the views of the thermal camera. There's your thermal view. This is through the eyes of the Bullard NXT. So there's your view. And let's take a look through the FLIR K2. There's your K2 view. So highlighting the difference there between the cameras. And so one more time, there's your Bullard view. And we're gonna come back to your FLIR view. And there's your FLIR view. So you can see the difference there. So already, what do you have? You have an attached gas phase. I'm gonna come up, I'm gonna ignite the smoke, all right? Smoke is fuel, so we're gonna come up, we're gonna ignite, and whenever we ignite, where are we going? We're going to the growth stage of the fire. Please watch the fast traveling convection currents. Be teaching the firefighters the importance of that. And like we talked at the very beginning, don't go crawling into that environment. Take control. Make this room yours before you go to the next room. So we're letting the fire heat up. As we heat up, what I'm gonna do is grab that NXT, the Bullard NXT thermal camera. We'll take another view looking down. There's your view, looking down that hallway. So it really highlights the importance of not just using the thermal camera for overhaul. We'll close you down. We'll take a look through the eyes of the camera here. So remember, use the camera for fire attack, use it for size up, and also kill the heat. You know, use the camera to make sure that you're killing the heat. So take the oxygen away from the fire, simply closing the door. We're gonna open that door. Now we look down the hallway and we look through the eyes of the thermal camera. So there's your thermal view as far as what you have taken place. And then there's your visual view. So we'll come up and we're gonna ignite the smoke and show how smoke is fuel. And there's our ignition. Now, like I said, when we ignite, where are we going? We're going right to that growth stage of the fire once that starts burning. And so we also have the Bullard TXS thermal camera here today. So there's your Bullard NXT, and here's your Bullard TXS view. There's a couple of different views for you there as far as our Max Firebox burn and learn. And one more time, boom. So there's what you have. All right, so now we're starting to get that fast traveling smoke. All right, so that should be an indicator that the fire's starting to grow. You see that the fire's starting to change gears. Intake, you see that air coming in, we have that exhaust. So you have fast traveling convection currents way up in this area. And this is going back to that whole idea of reach of the stream, whole idea of size this up and looking down that hallway of the Max Firebox Phase 1. I'm going to take your oxygen away from the fire by simply closing the door. We close you down. And when I open, let's look down this hallway. Let's look at it visually, and then we'll look at it through the eyes of the thermal camera. Door is closed, and we're going to open it. So there's looking down the hallway, and let's look down the hallway as far as killing the heat through the eyes of the thermal camera. You can see the importance of having that thermal camera. See your convection currents there. So, and there's ignition. So what happened there? So, the fire needed oxygen. Oxygen, fuel, heat, chemical chain reaction. The fire simply needed oxygen. We left the door open long enough, and what did we have? We did have the ignition because all the fire needed was that oxygen. So Everything's changing pretty fast right now. Our floor is still clean. Remember, 2 pieces of carpet. Our floor is still clean. You know, fire is not flashed over. Fast traveling convection currents, intake, exhaust, and you know, with the attachment here, you can vent. You can show vertical ventilation, or you can show the horizontal ventilation. If you want to show that window ventilation, you can open up either side, whichever side window you feel is going to be the best way to open it up. So I'm going to close you down here as far as the windows. Everything's heating up really fast. You have your intake, you have your exhaust, and then watch the smoke conditions. Okay, we want our firefighters to recognize the smoke conditions whenever they pull up on that scene, to recognize the importance of not pushing forward until they take control and flowing water. So there's your smoke conditions, fast traveling smoke conditions, and watch your ignition. All right, so flammable range, ignition temperature, fire point. So you have your ignition, you're burning up high. Now watch where your face piece would be. Right in that area is where your face piece would be, about that 50%. So that's something we want you looking at, is that whole 50% of the neutral plane. You know, you open the door, you have fast traveling smoke at the door handle. You have that intake, you can see that fatal funnel, that intake. So the idea of stop, flow some water, okay? So take control. Now your 2 pieces of carpet, this one's starting to off gas, it's almost gone. This one's hanging in there. It's hanging in there because we put water on it. We wanted to represent the reach of the stream, having water flowing out in front of you. So room's changing really fast. We're getting closer and closer to flashover. I'm gonna take the oxygen away. Now watch your smoke conditions whenever I open this. Watch your smoke conditions. I open it, look at how fast the smoke's traveling. Watch your ignition here. There's your ignition all the way across. So please, cannot stress the importance of making each room yours before you go to the next. Take control, okay? Make this room yours, and here's how we're looking at this. The door's gonna be closed up here. We'll close you down. Let me close you down. All right, we're closed. Now watch when I open this. Let's say they didn't take control. So if you look here, fast traveling convection currents, and now watch this ignitable mixture right in that area. I have the ignition, and then where's it gonna go? Once I ignited that, it's gonna go right back to the growth stage of the fire. So everything's gonna come and be just right where it needs to be. Look at your intake here, look at how fast. Now let's look here. Right in there. So your ignition temperature, your fire point, and your flammable range. So I really want you to highlight the importance of not just using the thermal camera for overhaul. I want you to use that thermal camera to, number one, make it better for you, also make it better for anybody that may be inside that environment. So, you know, the thermal camera is not just used for overhaul, we want to use that for fire attack. I'm going to grab I have the Bullard NXT here. So let me close you down. And whenever I close you down, I want you to take a look here through the eyes of the thermal camera down this hallway. So the whole idea of kill the heat, kill the heat, kill the heat, kill the heat. So here we go. We're looking down the hallway visually. And now what we're going to do is we're going to add the thermal camera to this view to show you the importance of using the thermal camera. All right. See your convection currents. Let's go over in this area. Let's go over here. All right. Let's go over here and see if you can recognize the convection currents. So important that we recognize that whenever we pull up on that scene. Let's look down the hallway here. Look at it visually. As we look at it visually, we're going to take a look at it through the eyes of the thermal camera. See all the heat? Very, very important we kill that heat. You have to kill the heat. So do not go pushing forward until you take control, like we talked about. Take control of that before you push forward. So really, if you look at that through the eyes of the thermal camera, you'd say, Sean, that is on fire, all right? So by looking at that through the eyes of the camera, you'll say that's on fire. But visually, you look at it, you can tell it's not on fire, but also it highlights the importance of what? Kill the heat, use the reach of the stream. Do not push forward until you take control of that. Now watch our ignitable mixture here. Like we said, you know, we always talk about the importance of understanding that you have more protection on your butt than you do on your face. What do you have on your face? You have a thin piece of plastic on your face. So the importance of using the reach of the stream, the importance of taking control before you push forward. Look at it as if you're a sniper. You're using the reach of the stream from right here. So let's take a look at the smoke conditions. I'm going to close you down, and then when I open you, watch where we have this ignitable mixture. So ignition temperature, fire point, flammable range. Key definitions that you had to memorize to get off of probation. That's what you're watching right there as far as our ignition, whenever we look at that. So we're getting close to that point of vent point ignition. We're getting close to that point of ventilation induced flashover. And how we're looking at that is you simply got on the scene, the door was closed, okay? You didn't flow any water yet. You didn't take control. The door's open, and with that door open and the fast traveling smoke, the fast traveling convection currents, we know that it's just a matter of time before we have ignition here. So for our firefighters to stop, recognize the conditions, flow water before they push forward is going to make it that much better for them, and also it's going to make it better for anybody that may be in that environment, to get some water in that environment and to kill the heat. Because as we look at what you have. Large amount of heat coming down that hallway, and we are really close to ignition in that hallway. So this could be the firefighters are simply looking for the fire. And then what happened? You had ignition, because what did the fire need? The fire only needed oxygen. That's all that it needed, is it needed oxygen. So one more time, we're looking down the hallway here, the Max Firebox Phase 1. So we have the attachment on. We're gonna close down that door. Whenever we close that door, we're gonna open it. Watch your smoke conditions. Watch the heat, kill the heat, use the reach of the stream. Fast traveling convection currents. Looking at that through the eyes of the thermal camera, look at what you have coming down. So fast traveling convection currents, the importance of using the thermal camera to size that up, and then using the thermal camera to kill the heat. So very important that we kill the heat. And now watch your ignitable mixture here. When I come up and I ignite, there's your ignition. And then also keep in mind, where did you go? You went to the growth phase of the fire. When that ignited, it went right to the growth phase of the fire. Smoke is fuel. You know, control the oxygen. You control the oxygen, you control the fire. Smoke is fuel. Think about that detached gas phase whenever we're looking down that hallway. And now watch where I'm going to ignite this, okay? Watch where I have an ignitable mixture here, all right? Watch your smoke color, watch the smoke conditions, and look at where I can ignite. Way out in that area, I had ignition. So smoke is fuel. Please keep that in mind. Kill the heat, kill the heat, and control the oxygen. We're going to open it one more time. Smoke is fuel. Way up in this area, I have ignition. So what we're highlighting here is ignition temperature, fire point, flammable range, the book terms that you had to memorize to get off probation, pass the state test. One more time. Ignition temperature, fire point, flammable range. Key definitions that we want our firefighters to have an understanding of. Door is closed. I'm going to open it. I have ignition. And then when I ignite, where did I go? I went to the growth stage of the fire. I want you to get closer, all right? So take your time, go real slow, and watch the camera change. I want you to have the camera change as you get closer. Keep getting closer. There, it changed. So you saw it change from high to low sensitivity. Now bring it down low. Bring the camera down low, down low, down low, down low, down low, down low. Keep going low, keep going low. I want to get the triangle off. Get the triangle off and bring it lower. Bring the camera lower. There you go. See how it changed? You can see how clear the stand is. Go up real slow. real slow, bring it up, bring it up, bring it up, bring it up. The bollard changed, and now the flare changed. Hey folks, Sean, Max Fire Training, home of the Max Firebox. We're doing our Max Firebox Phase 1 Burn and Learn with Mr. Helm here. But also what we have is we have the attachment on the Max Firebox Phase 1. So this is the fire behavior thermal imaging attachment that you can use for your fire behavior training. And we're looking at it through the eyes of the FLIR thermal camera. All right, Mr. Helm, we're ready, sir.
All right, guys, today we're going to talk to you about the importance of opening the line and keeping it on. So obviously we have a fire coming down the hallway here. This is what we all experience. A flow water, we darken it down, it's going to get dark inside. It seems like it goes away.
No, there's a ton of heat there, ton of heat.
Looking at it visually, it's not bad, but look it through the eyes of the tick.
Tons of heat.
This is why we continue to flow the line. If I continue to flow the line, keep that line on. Keep cooling the surfaces. Keep painting the room.
I don't know if they noticed it, but it did ignite back in the room. You cleared the hallway, but you still have a ton of heat. And my biggest thing is you don't pass this room until you take care of that, because look at what just happened. Came right back on. And, you know, a lot of departments, Brandon, they talk about they're going to reset the fire. You know, but when they reset, that's awesome, but make sure you kill the heat before you push on and go to that next area. Because you can see, you know, everything looked good. It looked really good visually, but through the eyes of the camera, we didn't kill anything. So very, very important. And then the closer I get, look at that heat that's built up inside.